best possible audio setup if you're on a dual PC streaming setup. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this, a lot of hoops to jump through. I think I found the absolute best way. You don't have to use voice meter, you don't have to deal with these like weird audio setups. All you need is a mixer. It works on everything. It works on PC setup, Nintendo Switch, literally anything you throw at it, it'll work. Let's get into it. And also, I just want to let you guys know that everything in this video can be found here on my website. There's direct links to everything I use in my current setup right now, as well as my entire gaming PC, streaming PC, keyboard, literally everything I use can be found on my website. And, you know, it'd mean a lot to me if you use these links as well, as I get a commission at no extra charge to you. But to get straight into it, I made this little Photoshop thing to kind of visualize it. If you have the Shure SM7B, which is what I have, you're going to need something called the Cloud Lifter. Just to get started off, but again, you will need a mixer, and the mixer I'm going to be using in this video for this tutorial is the GO XLR Mini. Any mixer will do fine. I assume they all have the same I/O, and I/O are these little inputs that you put into the mixer itself, but what you're going to need obviously is a gaming PC and a streaming PC. Now, I use the Elgato 4K60 Mark II, and you know, I have a tweet actually going over a lot of the problems I have with this device, but that has nothing to do with this video. Let's say you have this capture card and you want to get the best audio setup without having to jump through hoops. So, you need an Elgato, you need a streaming PC and a gaming PC. You also need a mixer and a microphone. Stuff like a boom arm is obviously always going to be secondary. Those aren't things you need to have for the setup to work, but there are going to be a couple. So again, you need a gaming PC, streaming PC, GO XLR, and a microphone. You're also going to need a ground loop isolator. You might be asking yourself, what is a ground loop isolator? So a ground loop isolator, I'm sure if you've ever plugged a set of headphones directly into your computer, you've heard that like weird, annoying buzzing noise. Now this completely gets rid of that buzzing noise, and you're gonna need it for the aux cables you're gonna use. You shouldn't only need one aux cable. There are some situations where you can use two, but for my setup, I only use one. You're also gonna need a headset, which you plug into the front, but again, you won't need an extra aux cable for that, but you are going to need a ground loop isolator. The one I use is also on my website if you want to find it here. Let's get into the actual setup. Now, to visualize this and make it as easy as possible to follow along, if you're setting up your audio system now, just go ahead and do it with me. So your USB will go straight into the back of your streaming PC. And then next, your microphone will obviously need to be powered. And I have a Shure SM7B. And when I first got it, I plugged the XLR cable straight into the GO XLR. The issue with this microphone in particular is that you actually don't have enough power. It seems like the XLR can't actually power the microphone enough. So the main issue I had was that I wasn't getting enough power to the microphone, so it wasn't loud enough. And if you just turn up the gain, you're gonna get a bunch of hissing and like weird artifacting noises. So what I did is I went ahead, I got a cloud lifter. And so what a cloud lifter does is it will take this XLR cable and go in here, give it more power, and then go straight into the XLR like that, and then it'll give it the extra power it needs, so you don't need to turn up the gain as much. Since my microphone only came with one XLR cable, you will need to buy other ones. And so what I did is I actually ended up getting 2 packs of these, since your XLR cable quality actually does matter. It'll make a small difference. If you don't want to spend the extra money, you can only get one of these, but I currently have 2 of these. I have one that goes from my microphone into the cloud lifter, and then the one from my cloud lifter that goes into my XLR. So I have 2 of these cables, and I just didn't use the one that came with mine. But if you just want to buy one, that's absolutely fine too. So you will need an extra XLR cable if you do need the cloud lifter. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your line out, which is you're going to use this aux cable. You're going to take it from here and you're going to put it on the line in on the back of your motherboard. It should just say line in on the back. You plug it straight into there. You don't plug it on the top or any other, you know, aux cable circles that might be on your computer. Just make sure it says line out. And what you'll do with the line out is basically take your microphone that you're using on your streaming PC and take it on your gaming PC. So you can see I have the line here. I also use the webcam if I'm like trolling or something, but I mainly use the line. So that's how I talk to people in game, and it take my microphone from my other PC into this one. And obviously your gaming headset will go straight into the front of it. I completely forgot actually. So what you're actually gonna need this for is before you plug your aux cable from the line out to your line in, you're going to want to take this ground loop isolator and take its aux cord and put it in your line in. And then plug this aux cord into this. So basically this aux cord goes into this, which goes into that. So they're all kind of connected, but this is just to get rid of that buzzing noise. You still might have a little bit of a buzzing noise after, but it won't be nearly as bad. Because the first way I did this was that I took everything, put it into my gaming PC, and just had it as a line out that went into my streaming PC. But when you do that, you can't separate all your tracks, like your game, your Discord, and your microphone, which made it really annoying for clips and recordings taken from my stream. So this is definitely the best way to do it, and you don't have to use voice meter or anything like that. And then if you do want to capture PS5 gameplay or something like that, you can use the optical here. You just take the optical, you can buy one online, or some optical to HDMI converters will come with one. I think the Astro one might, but I actually use this one instead. I've had problems with the Astro one in the past, but you just take the optical, put it in here, and then you put the other end of the optical into here, and then set it up with your Elgato that way with the HDMIs and everything, and it should work fine. But this isn't really a PlayStation tutorial, but again, this works with all consoles because it's just a dual PC setup, which basically means everything's connected to the streaming PC, and then it'll work on anything else, including another computer. Because usually with consoles, it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you want to make a specific PS5 tutorial, I can, but there's not really much that goes into it other than that. Basically, now you're done. Completely done with setting things up, plugging them in, and now we're getting over to the software side of things. So if you're setting this up as we go, you might wonder, how am I going to get audio in my headset now? Because it just sounds Elgato, I can't hear anything. Well, that's where we go over to the streaming PC. So now we're over on our streaming PC. And the first thing we're going to do is open up GO XLR. Now, these settings aren't really the best settings. It really depends on the type of voice you have in your room and things that kind of supplement it. These are actually all settings I got myself from a YouTube video. I completely copied these, but I like to have my mic be more realistic and not super like bass heavy or compressed like that. So these settings work fine for me. And for the mic setup, you're basically going to want to use condenser because dynamic won't work with this setup since you're using a cloud lifter, I believe. So now that you're using a cloud lifter, you basically want to speak into your microphone until it's at the good. You want it to be near the green when you speak into it. And the rule of thumb for the microphone I'm using is you want to have your fist in between the microphone and your mouth. Some of these microphones you need to be pretty close to, but that's the general rule of thumb. The most important thing here is the mixer. I'm going to bring over my OBS here. Do you see how I'm able to have Discord, Elgato, Music, SM7B, and System? This is just a microphone, but I haven't named as that for now. This is what you're going to need to, I guess, keep in mind when you're setting this up. So for me, I want this slider to be my microphone. It doesn't really need to be that. I'm just used to it being that way. But again, you can change this whenever because you can use this button in the bottom right to mute your mic anyway. So you really don't need this one unless you want to turn it down or turn it up for any reason. But I just have it as my mic just because I've had it for so long. And the channel 2 for me is still chat. And chat means Discord or anything you set this to. So if we open our sound settings, go to our control panel, and we look at our outputs and inputs, you'll have a bunch. So I have a lot of things I don't use as disabled, but these are the main things you're going to use. You're going to use chat, game, music, sample, and system. So your system is everything you hear on your computer. Like if you open Google Chrome, it's going to come to your system. So you want to set that as your default. Sample, I don't use. And then music is something you're going to listen to Spotify. So if you open up Spotify, it'll go strictly to this audio track and it'll go to nothing else. And then your game. So this can mean different things. At the end of the day, all of these can mean different things as long as you set it to the right program. So for me, game is actually what's coming from my gaming PC. So if I'm playing something on my gaming PC, it'll go through game. So anything that goes through my gaming PC or my Elgato will go to game. And then chat will be any Discord things. But you might be thinking, isn't there 2 chats? There is. There is a chat microphone, but that is for your recording. So you always want to make sure this is defaulted as well. But now we need to get to the part that matters the most, is how do I hear my gaming PC to my actual headset? So for me, my channel 1, channel 2, and I believe my channel 3 are all the same. It's music, chat, and microphone. But this is where you switch up channel 4. And again, I'll go over a different solution to this a little bit later. But for me, I have channel 4 as game. So since I'm not really ever playing anything or even really watching content on my streaming PC, I don't have a reason to use system. I don't need to use system because I'm almost never listening to anything on system. And if I really wanted to, I could always change it anyways here. So I have game as a source. Because when I'm playing on my gaming PC and something's loud like the game and I want to change it for myself, I simply just move this slider up and down. It'll change whatever I'm listening to on my gaming PC. Same thing goes for music, chat, and microphone. But with your microphone, that'll actually change on your OBS as well. That's just your output on your mic. So this is something you could also change the system if you wanted to. Another reason this setup is so good is if you were to change your game slider, it would actually only go down for you and not your stream. And another thing that's also very important is how you're routing everything. So you want to make sure your mic isn't going out to your headphones here, or else you'll just hear yourself the whole entire stream. Some people like that, but I think that's really annoying. Again, you're going to want your chat going to your headphones. You're going to want your music going to your headphones. Basically, all this you want going to your headphones. But this is something that is also going to matter, is your line out. Because remember, we set up our line out to go into our gaming PC so people can hear us talking game chat. So you want to make sure your microphone goes there. All this other stuff doesn't really matter because we're not using that, other than our chat mic, obviously. Like, you want your chat mic to go to your mic. For this other stuff, it doesn't really matter. I don't use the broadcast stream mix, so it doesn't matter for me. But that's up to you. So now we're completely done with the Go XLR. We have our settings. All we needed to do was basically set our mic as condenser, and then change our mixer to game. And again, you could still keep system if you wanted to. I just don't do it because I'm not used to it. But now we need to figure out how are we going to get our gaming PC into our actual headset. Because right now, it's completely going to our Elgato here. So here we have our Elgato. And let's say I wanted to, watch a YouTube video, right? I can hear myself fine. So this should be muted, you'll doubly hear it. This wouldn't go to my headset, it would only go to my Elgato. But if you're playing a game or watching anything, you're going to want to hear it yourself. You're not only going to want to have it go to your Elgato in the recording. So to get around that, what you do is you go to your Game Capture 4K 60 Mark II audio, go to properties, you want to do to listen to this device. So everything your Elgato hears, you will hear. So you go to playback through this device. It might be defaulted as system or something like that. Make sure it's on game because it's that slider and we're going to have a separate audio track for it in OBS. So you want to make sure you're always listening to the device, and that's basically it. You just turn up the audio to 100 so you can actually hear it, and you're completely done. That's literally all you need to do. You don't need to do any voice meter things, any weird, annoying, like, turnarounds to have delay or something like that. So once you do that, you're completely done. Now you can hear it and also have your stream hear it or have your Elgato pick it up. Because the way I used to have to do it before was I'd go in my settings and I would change my microphone to my line in or my line out before when I had everything on my gaming PC. But now I have my audio input as chat mic, so you can see it talking right there. I have that as chat mic, and then I have, my PC audio going to my Elgato, but I can also hear it now. So you have all that. And make sure your device is also on internal and whatever resolution you're playing at. I'm playing at 1440p, but if you're not, just do 1080p anyway. So now you're basically done. You can hear everything. Everything should be going through the right signals. But now you might be asking yourself, how do I set this up since I'm a streamer? Because now you have the Elgato part down. But a lot of people don't use the software, and I completely understand why. So you can see that I have my SM7B here, and let's say I were to, to start watching a video. You can now see it going through my Elgato. So once you add your Elgato, it should automatically bring up this audio source. So you don't need to do anything with that. But if you go into the settings here and you go to audio, you'll see that you only have 2 desktop audios. And we know now that we're using Go XLR that we should have like 3 or 4 that we're using. We have system, music, game, and chat. So that's not enough. So what I did is I just completely disabled these, disabled everything here, and just made this an entire different source. So the way I did this is I did add, and then I made a group. So once you make a group, it's like a little folder. You can bring this around anywhere you go, or bring it down to the bottom like I did here. And once you open this group, you do add, and for an audio input capture. That means like a microphone, something you're inputting. That's the way I think of it. You're inputting it so it gets what you're saying into the computer. So you create an audio input device, you press OK, go to device, you'll see sample, chat mic, game capture. So if you wanted to do this a different way, where I guess you didn't have your game capture as a source, you just wanted the audio from the game capture for whatever reason, you could do that, but since I have it on a source on basically everything, I don't need to do that. So I just do chat mic, and that's basically it. That's my microphone. But then you might be wondering, how do I actually get my music, my system, everything like that? So you then do add again, but now instead of input, you do output. Because whatever your computer is outputting is what you want to hear. Whatever is going through Go XLR, you want it to output into your microphone. So now you do audio output capture. So you press OK, and you go through system, chat, music, game. You add all 4 of these, because these are what you're mainly going to be using. So once you add all of those in and have the right output for them, you just rename them. So I have them all here done. Click on system, it's system. Music is music. SM7B is the input, and Discord is chat. And if you're wondering how to get your Discord to go through chat, or anything for that matter, this is kind of the way I do it. For Discord, you can just go in with some of these applications. They should support doing it natively in the application, but if they don't, like Spotify doesn't, for example, you just go to your settings, sound settings, and you see at the bottom advanced sound options. So for my music, so for me, I have to play music for it to actually register, but now you can see Spotify music. So the top is the output and the bottom is the input. All that matters here is the output, because you're trying to output Spotify into your music. So simply click the top, you go to music, click it there. And then I don't really change anything else here. You could do the same thing for Discord here, but I have it in the settings, but you would basically do the same thing, just have it on chat. And that's basically it, because we have the game just taking our Elgato, and we already have that source. Our music's taking the music, Discord's taking the Discord, and our system is just, let's say we opened a YouTube video on our streaming PC for whatever reason, that is the area it would go. Oh, and you might be asking, how do I make it to where I don't have my music track going to my Twitch VOD? So first you're gonna go to your settings, then you're gonna go to output, and you're gonna see audio track and Twitch VOD track. So what your audio track means is this is the audio track that will not go to a Twitch VOD track. And what a Twitch VOD track is this is what's going to actually go to your Twitch VOD track or your clips. So once your stream is done, this is the only track that will be shown in your VODs or clips. But for this audio track, this is everything that'll be in your stream while you're streaming. So you can put music in 6, but you cannot have it in your VOD track, or you will get like DMCA'd or, reported or banned, right? It doesn't have to just be music. If you don't want something else in your VODs or clips, you can also, group it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our audio mixer, right click it, and go to advanced audio properties. And now you're going to see a whole bunch of these. You're basically going to take these things like music, SMB, system, Elgato, Discord. Those are the important ones. Even TTS can be important. So I want my TTS to be in my VODs and in my stream. So I have them on both. But since I don't want something like my music in my VOD, I'll have it off 5. But everything you do want in your VOD, you're going to have on 5. So that's why everything here is a 5. So since I want everything in my actual stream while I'm live, I have them all as 6. But everything you do not want in your VOD, you're going to uncheck on 5. Now, this is also going to be the next confusing part, is recording. So now we're going to go back to our settings. We're going to go back to output, and we're going to do recording. So you only have 6 choices again for an audio track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to want to choose these very, very carefully. So I have 6, the most enabled. And now we're going to go back to our advanced audio properties by right-clicking on audio mixer and going to the properties again. I have to pick my tracks very carefully. So for one track, only one of them can be one, unless you want multiple things mixed into one track, which you can do. But be aware, if you have, let's say, Discord as your track 1 and your microphone as your track 1, and someone's talking over you in a clip and you want to get them out of the clip, you can't do that without also removing your microphone. So just keep that in mind. So I like to have everything completely separate, which is why this is such a good setup to have. It's a little confusing going into it, but once you have it set up, literally everything will run completely perfectly. So for my first audio track, I have it as my Elgato. This is my gameplay audio track. You can see nothing else here has audio track 1. So if I recorded something or replay buffered it, the only thing that will be in my audio track will be my gameplay. Next, we have our audio track 2, and this will be my microphone. So again, the only thing that will be there is my microphone in that second track. And for track 3, we have our Discord, so that'll be our chat, the only thing in our third voice line. And again, this doesn't apply to our stream because we still have it all on 5 and 6. So those things will be in the Twitch track we want them to be in. So they'll still go to our stream and still go to our VOD if we want them to. And then number 4 will be system. So let's say I get a donation or something, a text-to-speech. That will be its own track. If I want that to be gone, it'll be gone. Because sometimes hearing sub notifications or Twitch notifications is kind of annoying in a YouTube video format. So if you want to kind of separate those things, you can. And then for number 5, that's our Twitch VOD. So those are its own things. And number 6 is also the same thing. But one has music and one doesn't. So usually what I do is I just remove them when I'm making a YouTube video because I already have everything here. This is just them together, and they're all together for one of them, but one of them doesn't have music, basically. So you don't really need 5 or 6. So those are our Twitch VOD, and that's our actual Twitch audio track. So those are kind of, needed for Twitch. So you can't really have 6 dedicated just recording unless you only record. That's also a good thing to keep in mind. You basically are limited to 4 audio tracks if you stream, but most people aren't going to need 4 anyway. But that's basically it. Once you record something, for example, we go into Vegas. For me, if I was starting out as a content creator, I wouldn't really recommend Vegas. I would go with something like Premiere just because Vegas is really, really bad. But let's say we did that. So let's say we wanted to put in our OBS file here. Let's say we replay buffered something. You now see that we have all of these separate tracks. We have our video track, and then each of those 6 tracks we made. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because the video track counts as 1. So each of these are going to be those tracks we made, and you can see these bottom 2, they're almost identical. And the only difference between these is one will have music and one won't because of the settings we made simply for Twitch. But I still include them just in case I want everything together. Sometimes it can make things easier, but that's kind of up to you. These are our main tracks. Our gameplay, microphone, Discord, and our system. That's basically it. It makes that really easy. And now you also have this other solution of the Elgato. You can take those smaller clips you wanted to make, because replay buffer is kind of annoying in the sense that if you wanted to clip something that is only 2 minutes, but you have your replay buffer to like 10, now you have 10 minutes of gameplay that you don't really want to have sitting on your computer. So the thing I like to do is have Elgato open as well as streaming and have replay buffer on so I can, multitask, clip whatever I want. When you first put your Elgato clip into Vegas, it will group both of these, but you can see right here it has your game capture and your live commentary. So this right here will be just my mic track, and then this up here will be just my game track. So you can have those both and then sync them up and do it that way. I know a lot of people just like to use OBS, but it gives you that extra opportunity. Let's say if you don't want your face cam or your overlay in there, you can also have another instance of OBS open. I just don't like that for the simple fact of I like being able to go to my OBS and then scrolling back to exactly where I want to go to have that exact clip. You know what I mean? But again, these are all just giving you these extra opportunities you wouldn't have otherwise if you had a single output just going into your streaming PC like I used to have. This was very game changing for me because you could use Voicemeeter technically, but Voicemeeter has a really bad delay. And it's just the most annoying thing to set up because it's basically like a virtual GO XLR. But having that extra hardware right in front of you where you can just change things as you go. You can change your game audio for you, but since I have my Elgato at -10, it'll still be that same audio for them. If I want to sound whore without breaking their eardrums, I can do it. Or if I want to go vice versa, I can. Same thing with Discord. If you want your stream to hear Discord pretty loud, but you don't really feel like hanging out today, you can completely mute it for you, but they'll still hear it. But if you're on the a lot of people have asked me how to do this, a lot of streamer people obviously, but I just wanted to post it on YouTube so I can, send it to people who ask or, just help someone who wants to get started out. But again, I wouldn't really go this far if I was just starting out. A single PC is more than enough. As you can probably tell, it's very, very annoying to be able to set this up. A dual PC setup is probably the most annoying thing, and I actually have not been able to find another video where people go into this type of depth and do this method. A lot of the methods I've seen make you use Voicemeeter, make you just do the most annoying things and go through the most annoying hoops. So I'm very glad I found this out. I've been dual PC streaming for like 2, maybe 3 years, and I literally just found this out like 2022. So it took me a while to make a video, but that's basically how you do everything. So again, if you want to check out everything, you can go into other stuff for streaming, like using a pedal to be able to mute yourself, go into game chat, or deafen very quickly, using Stream Deck to go through your scenes, even clip things very easily. I could do that, but I don't know if this is really, needed that deeply. But if I helped you, and you need to buy some stuff, please go through my links. It'd mean a lot to me. But even then, I hope you guys had a good one, and I'll see you guys whenever I upload.